Supervisors regular session meeting Wednesday, March 15th, 2023 here at 9 a.m. at the Marshall County Sheriff's Office and by those who have joined by Zoom. Notice to the public, the Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public during the time allowed for discussion. You're requested to approach the microphone, state your name for the record and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others can be given an opportunity to speak. The normal process on agenda is that the chair read the agenda item or is given the opportunity to comment on the issue and or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented at which time the public may participate. With a roll call vote to follow. For attendance today, roll call vote, please.
Kyle.
Here.
Slosik.
Present.
Hibbs.
Present.
And Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I have a motion to approve today's agenda?
I motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Second.
Motion in a second. Any discussion? Call vote, please.
Kyle.
Yes.
Slosik.
Yes.
Hibbs.
Yes.
On to consent agenda. I may approve minutes from March 1st, 2023 and February 2023 claims list. Claims is audited, claims and authorize the county auditor and recorder to issue payment the same. Listing of the claims paid at this meeting and all claims paid in the current month will be published as part of the first meeting of the following month. 5C, appointment of Randy Kessler as Veterans Affairs Commissioner to fill an expired term of Tommy Lamb through December 31st, 2024. D, file receipt of DNR authorization for Marshall Ridge Farms LLC, Marshall County ID 60101 to start filling the digester tanks, use all pits, pumps, piping, and equipment for the anaerobic digester system. 5E, file district court report, February 2023. 5F, file manure management plans for Aaron Borton, ID 65862 at 1359 Clemens, 1359 140th Street in Clemens, Burt Farm Site ID 62502, 2809 170th Street, Marshalltown, Eric Finisher Farm, ID 65770, 1144 120th Street in St. Anthony, JT Farms East Site ID 63208 at 2349 to 90th Street, Haverhill, and Narco Sport ID 61016 at 1131 140th Street in St. Anthony. That concludes the consent agenda. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is second, and for discussion, I'd like to state that we have the appointment of Randy Kessler as our Veterans Affairs Commissioner. It fills the unexpired term of Tommy Lamb. Tommy Lamb passed away a couple weeks back, and he had served on Veterans Affairs for the past 5 years. He was fiercely patriotic, incredibly proud of his military service. He served in the United States Army from 1967 to 1969, spent a year of service in Vietnam, and reached the rank of 5 for his service. He received in the Army Commendation. He received the Army Commendation Medal. And you know, I went to one of the Veterans Affairs meetings, the first one that I got to attend as Board of Supervisors member. He was so passionate to have on there. And you know, we're truly gonna miss him. And so it's very sad to have the unexpected loss of Tommy, but
And he was an airline pilot.
yeah, he did that as well. So,
And I'm really pleased to have Randy Kessler fill this slot. This is great.
yeah, he's well. Randy's going to do a great job. He's been involved with the Legion and a variety of other things that's going to make him ready to hit the ground running. He showed up to our last Veterans Affairs meeting, and he's ready to rock and roll. And so we have people passionate about veterans serving on this commission is right where you want them. So Any further comment on the consent agenda? Roll call vote, please.
Kyle.
Yes.
Swafford.
Yes.
Hibbs.
Yes.
All right, on to number 6, medical examiner request for deaf investigators to service Marshall and Tama counties, discussing possible action. And so this is kind of a two-part here. Part 1 is appointment of Jason Bina and Grace Bethel as deaf investigators for Marshall County Medical Examiner's Office, with current deaf investigators Mark Bethel, Courtney Watson, and Delynn Hotchkiss McEltree. The second part, maybe we just want to go over that first.
I think this is just, they're spreading the load. So
Yep.
it has no effect on budget
Yep.
and just makes more people available to take care of situations that they get into.
That was my understanding.
Yep.
And part 2 just allows Courtney to be over in FEMA. We hadn't done that, and we could do that in both spots, and she just worked in Marshall. So this allows her to work in both counties too. So it just lightens the load for everyone. If we need a deaf investigator, somebody's got to do it. It just lets us have a little bit more flexibility and scheduling.
Because Dr. Bethel does both Marshall and Tama. So this is basically gives them the authority to have more people have the coverage, so it lightens the load, and they have that authority to do both counties. All right, so for that motion 1, the first one, do we have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the appointment of Jason Bena and Grace Bethel as deaf investigators for Marshall County Medical Examiner's Office, with current deaf investigators Mark Bethel, Courtney Watson, and Lynn Hotchkiss McEltree.
I don't second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Kyle.
Yes.
Swafford.
Yes.
Hibbs.
Yes.
The motion for the second part of this.
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Courtney Watson as death investigator for Tama County, in addition to duties in Marshall County.
I'll second that.
We have that motion in a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Kyle.
Yes.
Swafford.
Yes.
Hibbs.
Yes.
Motion is carried. On to number 7, final system acceptance of Marshall County P25 radio system expansion in Dycal paging. Steve, I believe you were on.
I've been on this for 2.5 years, I believe, and played a small part in it, but I'm so pleased that this has come to fruition here, and I hope it's accepted today.
Was there one last thing that needed to be done at all that was outstanding?
We still have a generator to put up yet for Whitaker's. Yeah. And it's supposed to be in, I think, in April or May.
Yeah, they were back ordered.
Right. Yeah, it should have been in a year ago, but with back orders, it wasn't possible.
So we have it now?
No, not
It's
yet.
not here.
Okay.
Supply chain issues.
Secret, yeah, that latest letter from Raycom was in mid-May.
Mhm.
Any other further comment?
I assume the system is working satisfactorily for everyone and.
Yeah, that's it. The extra towers made a huge difference in coverage, and
Good.
there's still some little things worked out here and there as we're learning how it's all working, but overall it's a huge improvement.
Wonderful.
We have a motion to approve the acceptance.
I'll move we approve the acceptance of Marshall County's P25 radio system expansion and Dycal paging. Authorized Steve to sign.
Hey, there we go.
How's that?
Yeah, the motion is second. Any further discussion? Color ink.
It's gotta be blue.
All right, there you go. Perfect. All right, roll call vote, please.
Kyle.
Yes,
Swafford.
Yes.
Hibbs.
Yes.
motion carries. That pen ready. Number 8, OPN Architects proposal for schematic design, design development, and cost estimate for sheriff's office and jail discussion and possible motion and action.
I can speak to this if you guys like.
Thank you.
This is the next step for our designated ARPA funds for the sheriff's office and jail upgrades. Essentially what this does is we have a larger project that we're looking at that we're going to have to phase in. We don't have all the money to do it right now. So the plan is to take the entire project to a design development phase and then do another cost estimate to see what portions of it are going to cost what kind of money. And then we can really dial in and say, all right, we're going to spend our money on X, Y, Z, call that phase 1, and then work on phase 2. So this takes us quite a ways through the project. Construction documents are more finishes and things after that. Some more specific drawings to small details. So this takes us a lot of the way through at least the architectural side of the project.
Do they have to be involved in the finishes and things like that, or is that something we can take over?
That's it all kind of ties together. There aren't a lot of finishes. It's more like details on a door needs to be installed like this. This is the packing material and the specifications, your new specifications, stuff like that. So it's something that could be handled in-house, but I feel like people that do it every day would most likely do a better job of it and document.
So this would get us what we need to then figure out what to bid out and
Yeah.
and what pieces to bid out
Yeah.
and what pieces we can do.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and this isn't finalizing everything. That was a question I had from Patty Bed here. This will be the point where we kind of all sit together and say, all right, we want it to look like this. Let's go in this direction. Up until now, it's kind of been looking at kind of this. We're going to have a more pointed approach to this.
Yeah. So there would be another step though, if there were pieces of this, there probably would be no matter what if we have construction documents then.
Yeah, so what we would do is we would take the design development plans and then take a
Detail.
portion of that and then continue it to construction documents.
Okay,
Whatever we would identify as what we think we want to do is phase 1.
so I don't recall seeing what the timeline is for this. That they
9 weeks.
9 weeks.
Yeah, it's on the second page right on the top there, schedule. Take
Okay,
approximately 9 weeks.
Is there a chance this comes out of the ERP funds?
It does.
Okay.
Yep.
Great,
Mhm.
great.
Yeah, this is encompassed in the project as a whole. So as we think of our funds as total, this is just kind of taking bites out of our big number. And then after we have, figure out what our actual money we have to spend is left over. There are some abatement costs that are a question mark at this point. We don't know how much, lead abatement or asbestos abatement will need to be done. That's I haven't done here for myself to call somebody in and come out and do a report on that. So we'll be working with that.
are we gonna move forward with that
Yeah.
during this time?
Yeah,
period?
so abatement of a building is an owner's responsibility that needs to be done before the contractor comes in. So yeah, that's something that will happen before construction starts.
But after we receive these or
It doesn't matter. They can run together.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
just
I
wondering
think
about-
we'd be smart to do the abatement as a whole in general.
okay. I'm wondering about
Yeah.
costs with that.
Yeah,
You know,
most likely it's just like insulation on pipes is what you see a lot of. We aren't hardly tearing up any carpet and like this is black mass. Pretty much everything installed post a renovation. Yeah. There may be some tile on the floor or in the basement somewhere, but most likely we will not disturb it. As long as we don't disturb it.
We don't get an opportunity to say kind things about the federal government, but in this case,
Yeah.
it really, this has been kind of a godsend for Marshall County. So
Are the rest, I won't say that.
I agree with you.
Well, the approximately 9 weeks language concerns me a little, but as long as you're confident they'll stay on task.
Yeah, I mean, give or take a week there, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be anything. We're not, I don't have concerns on our end timeline of when ARPA dollars need to be spent. That's at the end of 25. So
Right.
there's, 2.5 construction seasons before. So
Time flies.
it does.
Right, when we're having fun.
Yeah.
I would make a motion then if discussion is over. Make a motion to approve the OPN Architect's proposal for schematic design development and cost estimate for sheriff office and jail lump sum fee of $163,495, excluding reimbursement expenses, and authorized Chair Heil to sign.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Thanks for the report on that, Lucas, and OPN for the work on this as well. All right, roll call vote, please.
Kyle,
Yes.
Wassick,
Yes.
Pitts,
Yes.
The number 9, adopt resolution 2023-15, amended assessed taxable values of utility companies. So correction affected only the railroad taxable value, which is subject to the 2-tier assessment for Senate File 181. First 150,000 value is subject to the residential rollback, which changed from 6.4919 to 54.6501%. The remainder of the subject is subject to the 90% rollback. We have a motion to adopt this.
I will make the motion that we adopt this amended assessed taxable values of utilities companies. And as the full resolution is listed here, so I'll make the motion that we adopt it as presented.
Do we need the number of the resolution? Or is that not necessary? It's
Was
not necessary. I'll second.
The motion is second. Dan, did you have any?
Yeah, and this, as you stated, it was due to that Senate file and the changing of the rate. So it was a 2022 resolution. This is just the amended because of the change of rate. So
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Kyle,
Yes.
Wassick,
Yes.
Pitts.
yes.
Number 10, public forums. Time set aside for public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in public forum.
Jesse and I have our second tier of canvas set for March 21st. We will be at 9 a.m. We'll be held at the bank versus the sheriff's office because it takes about 4 minutes and the drive time is longer than coming out here. So it's been reposted at any location. And so just another way to inform everybody. Yesterday, we had a packed room of the 4 of us, and that was it. So we thought we'd save us all a little time.
Thank you. Any other?
Paul, how are those roads?
Well, we're making our way through the 4th run through the 2nd week of March. Because we have one every month all winter. Apparently. It's the first time I've ever seen it.
Let's hope that's not a trend.
Now, I don't like to believe in global warming. This is going to be a thing. We gotta
Address
modify how we do business. Because, and it's hard for the public to understand that we can't haul rock in February just because it gets warm and muddy, because it's gonna snow in 2 days. Gotta keep our sanders and our plows on and everything. Can't convert over to rock haul. But we are pretty much converted over, so we'll be hauling rock this month. There's any speculation we're not reducing the amount of rock on the roads. We've kept the budget at about $1.5 million, which is our largest expenditure in our budget, this granular resurfacing. At any rate, we're hitting bad spots and we're not doing wholesale everywhere yet, right? But I need to get signatures from the board before you leave. I need title sheet. Or a place to get you guys.
Well, thanks for getting the rock out in some of those spots. It did help in those. There were some rough spots out there, and that rock definitely did help.
Yeah, and it never froze right all winter, you know, is what we're used to seeing. It didn't happen. So with any luck, April won't be as miserable as we've seen some Aprils, you know.
Wash your fingers.
This rain tomorrow will take out the rest of the frost.
Yeah, and if we get, you know, then we need 1 yard thunders. I don't know why it like beats the air out of the road, gets things kind of hammered down, but always if we can have one good thunderstorm, it makes things a lot firmer.
I do have one thing for dispatch. Next month is National Telecommunicators Week. It's always the second full week in the month of April. So this year it's going to be the 9th through the 15th. So during the week, definitely reach out, talk to your dispatchers. For that week.
Should they be showered with gifts?
Absolutely. They typically like food, lots of
And food.
caffeine, and yeah, food is great. Food is great. Yeah. We are foodies. We are foodies. Right now, everyone's just trying to get over the sickness. As you can tell, I still have it in my voice, but. Yeah.
Well, you're surrounded, sorry. We have not even seen each other in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We're the same.
Yeah, it's just been so wow. But, so yes, definitely. Good.
Anything from Sheriff's Department? No, like you guys are addressing. We talked about. Maybe it's that one to moving along, and that's what we want to see. So good. Very good. Yeah, again, for that, we are working on fundraising for our new K9 program for the Sheriff's Office. So if anyone has interest in helping out with that, you know, look us up, and we're more than happy to take any community input or help we get that. That is. That does start next week. We got our for Assistance Academy starting Tuesday next week. All the positions were filled in that class. We're looking at doing like one fall. We're not sure the exact dates or number of students yet for that one, but we're gonna give this first one a run and make adjustments we need to from there.
How many participants?
So we've got 10 in this first class just because we weren't sure how logistics and timing was all going to work out. So we're going to give that a shot, and we'll see come fall. I would anticipate we may be able to increase, but we'll make sure this first time we're all just learning as we go how it works, that it flows smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be really nice to be able to showcase the sheriff's office and everything that they do as well. So, it's going to be a really nice change to see that new program.
Yeah, even those folks that done the Police Department's Academy, ours, while some of the features may be similar, there's a lot of things they wouldn't see. You know, that we're responsible for the courts, the court security, the jail. It brings in all the the civil aspect, brings in all those other things that the general public doesn't really realize that we take care of. So it's good for people to be exposed to that.
Your fundraising for the K9 program, is that separate from the cities?
Yes, 2 separate programs.
The
timing of it happened to be coincidental, but
I think it's important people know that because they've given one program doesn't mean there's
Right.
not a need over here in this program.
Yeah, we're just looking to get our first one off the ground. We've never had a K9 at the Sheriff's Office before, so this is a new program. But I think with the times we live in and the miles of highway we have here, and it's important to have that extra tool or resource out there. And, even though the majority of the population of Marshall County lives in Marshalltown, if you look at this, doing drug work with dog, all those drugs that come to Marshalltown come through the county to get there. So they're coming down these highways that we're out working on. We have a lot of businesses and homes in rural areas. So that dog gives us a lot of opportunities as far as deterring theft, tracking theft suspects, burglary suspects, things like that. Gives us another resource. It's really great to have.
Well, excuse me, I'll try to use this voice too, this aiming me. See, we're just about finished with all the upgrades. The Emergency Operations Center pretty much consists of this whole floor, which is also used for training. So it's nice when we upgrade it. It's not just sitting there waiting for disaster or whatever, but so it can be dual purpose. Finished getting the remainder of the chairs that we needed. We just are lacking a table that we need to finish up with. So that's good. We used some ARPA dollars that were allocated for that. So it's been kind of slow because of supply chain, but we're just about finished with that. The command trailer, communications trailer is just about done. It's getting exciting. We had another meeting on that day before yesterday. Yeah. So we worked on some of the wiring, some of the outlets and stuff that need to be done. And the company's been really good about touching base like every step.
And plan for the future.
Yeah, exactly. So this will outlast many of us, I would hope. It's a really good project. So yeah, that's a big project that's hopefully will be wrapping up around mid-May.
Yeah.
Is your plan to showcase that a little bit?
Absolutely.
We really, over these last several months between the sheriff and Adam and I, we really tried to look at, okay, 10 years, 15 years down the road, what might we need so that we can have it in there and be prepared for it. So we really tried to, do some forward thinking here.
And easy to switch out the technology because we all know that upgrades. And so what technology is going in there isn't built in where it can't be switched out.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's just a lot of forethought. It's been really good to collaborate on that. So yeah, we can't wait to show that one off.
Yeah, we're excited.
It's very exciting.
And it's going to be so useful for Marshall County. I mean, it's going to be awesome.
We'll be driving over somewhere midnight.
Interesting. It's
Yeah, it's very exciting. Every time we talk to them, it's like we're just that much closer to having this amazing resource. Then talking about the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center, we don't get to exercise our Emergency Operations Center very often. It's really hard to get all the players together. We do different exercises, but it just doesn't seem like that one gets played out as often as I'd like, and especially with COVID and everything. So just kind of mark your calendars for August 7th or 8th. I was going to try to do my volunteers probably on August 5th, which is a Saturday, and work with them because it's easier for them. But I'd like some of the paid positions or the people that work those jobs during the week to possibly come in and work through some scenarios. It is a state driven, well, it's actually national driven. The National Guard is doing vigilant guard. And so there's only 4 counties that jumped in to actually participate in that exercise. And I felt like it was a really good one. One, because they write the exercise and takes that off of me. But 2, it plays out some things that we've seen. They're working on, natural disasters and how would we work through that here, but also how would we reach out to the National Guard? And it's so different than it was, when I first started with emergency management, where you could just call up Marshalltown and Armory and say, hey, I need a truck for this or that. It's a totally different situation. So I'd like to bring in some of our key players, board of supervisors, anyone that is a decision maker. So elected officials, also those that do any finance would be involved, because obviously those are those decision makers. People that run an emergency operations center are the ones that are behind the scenes. They're not the boots on the ground where we've got first responders and volunteers out there doing that. But we're behind the scenes making those decisions and paying those bills to make that all happen. So we'll be working on that. Got an EMS conference coming up this coming weekend. Finally back into the full swing of getting all these conferences going. And then my CERT team, which is our community emergency response team, we were finally able to hold a class, and it looks like we'll gain about 5 more volunteers to our teams from that class, which is really nice. They fill that gap between citizen and first responder. So we don't want, law enforcement's out there and they need to be doing law enforcement driven requests and responsibilities. We need somebody to fill that gap to maybe direct traffic or to do things that it doesn't necessarily take law enforcement to do. We're trained to do that at that CERT level. Same thing with fire, doing rehab, doing some other things. And so they learn a lot. They train every month. And they're very, very active. We just have lost members and had a couple of deaths actually, and then we've had retirements. And so I'm hoping this builds our team back up. It's a small team, but they are very active to keep trained. So I think that's it.
And with some of this training that Kim is putting together and those exercises, that also allows me to take the team that I put through the tactical dispatcher programs and stuff like that, to be able to have people come in, sign off on their briefs so that they can be, statewide recognized. So that's also that, next level of training so it's important to have those exercises.
It is. It's nice because those exercises, like she just said, we may be exercising in the EOC, but the hospital, and I know you've seen that too, the hospital may be exercising off of our exercise. So they're playing their little part there. A dispatch is doing their part. So there can be offshoots of that main exercise, which is really nice once you get that going, and then you have injects or you have things that other people can do. It works really well. It takes a lot of effort, but it just introduces those, especially elected officials that maybe don't always see that happening. What would you do? Where's your role in this emergency operations center? So.
Great, thanks, Kim.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Mhm.
Anything online, James? Call what?
Happy Wednesday.
Yes. Happy Wednesday. All right, hearing no further comments, the next regular session is Wednesday, March 29th at 9 a.m. Marshall County Sheriff's Complex here, therefore conference room 3B, all business to be acted upon that. That session should be submitted to the county auditor reporter's office or the board supervisor's office by Wednesday, March 22nd at noon. There also is the joint city county meeting on Thursday, March 23rd at 5 p.m. Leave in the Coliseum.
What's the location?
I believe in the Coliseum, I'm not sure.
Is James to be there for technology like last time?
Not required this time.
Okay, great.
And then we have the meeting next week for the canvas, and I believe that's our meetings on the calendar. So without any further business coming before the board, this meeting is adjourned at 9:34.